I stared at my reflection in the glass, the old church behind me. It was dark inside, barely lit by the single bare bulb hanging from the ceiling. I pushed my glasses up my nose and sighed. How did I end up here? The village of Oakhaven wasn't exactly on my travel itinerary, but when your car breaks down, there's not much you can do about it. And with cell service out in this part of the woods, I had two options: stay in the nearest town for the night and risk getting robbed, or, since it was late and all the motels were closed, find somewhere to crash in the country and risk running into a bear. I lost the coin toss. So here I was sitting in an old church that looked like it hadn't seen a visitor in decades. And then there was her. The moment I stepped inside, I felt it, a presence in the back, but I didn't think anything of it. At first, I thought it was just an animal, maybe a cat or something. It wasn't until later, after I found a place to sleep and settled in, that I heard it again. A sound like chains dragging metal moans. I sat bolt upright in my makeshift bed. What was that? I hoped it was my imagination, but then I heard the sound again, closer now. I turned on my flashlight and crept towards the sound, deeper and deeper into the church, and then I saw it. Behind the altar, the source of the noise was trapped within the stonework. I took a few steps forward. The chains dragged. Then I shone my light up, and my blood ran cold. There in front of me was a horrifying sight. It was a woman, or what remained of one anyway. She was bound hand and foot with thick iron chains. She was trapped against the wall, her body contorted into an unnatural angle. I took a hesitant step forward, and the chains screeched as she struggled against her bonds. Her face was pale, stretched taut over her bones, and in her eyes I could see fear, an eternity of fear. She was dead. Well, I think she was dead. That is, if whatever this was could die. Her lips moved, and I leaned closer, straining to hear her. She rasped, "Help me." My breath caught in my throat. Could she still feel pain? Was she still alive? She continued, her voice growing stronger. "Help me break the chains." For a moment, our eyes locked, and I felt a strange connection between us. It was like I knew her, like we'd met before. But how? And who was she? More importantly, how did she get trapped here? As I reached out to touch the chains, something extraordinary happened. The air around me shimmered, and she was gone. Where did she go? One moment she was there, writhing in agony, and the next she had vanished. Had I imagined the whole thing? I touched the cold stone where she had been a moment before, my fingertips tingling with what felt like electricity. No, I hadn't imagined it. Whoever she was here, and I had a feeling she wasn't done with me yet. Then I saw it, a small gap in the stonework, just big enough for a finger to fit in. I inserted my finger into the hole and felt something soft. I pulled it out slowly and gasped. It was a key, a large, ornate key made of pure gold. As soon as my fingers brushed against it, images flooded my mind. I saw the woman, not as a horrifying, emaciated corpse, but as a beautiful young girl with flowing red hair and skin like alabaster. I also saw a man, his face obscured by shadows, dragging her towards the altar. I watched as he chained her to the wall, his face still hidden, and then he disappeared. When the visions faded, I was left shaking, the key heavy in my hand. Somehow this key was connected to me, drawn to me. I didn't know why, but I felt compelled to find the lock it belonged to. I slipped the key into the first hole I saw. It turned, and a section of the wall slid aside. I couldn't believe my eyes. Behind the wall was a staircase leading down into darkness. What was down there? I hesitated, the darkness below seeming to beckon to me. But before I could change my mind, the ground gave way beneath my feet, and I tumbled down the stairs, the key clattering away from me into the darkness. At the bottom, I landed on soft grass and sat up. Shaking, I found the key and turned back to the stairs. I started to climb, desperate to get back to the surface, back to the world I knew. But then I heard her voice. "Don't go," she whispered, her tone both commanding and pleading. I froze, torn between my desire to escape and my need to help her. Who was she? Why was she trapped here? And what did she want from me? Slowly, I descended the stairs again. As I approached the bottom, the air grew colder, the darkness deeper. The presence I'd felt when I first entered the church was back, stronger than before. It pressed against me, urging me to keep going, to venture deeper into the darkness. Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself and walked further into the unknown. Suddenly, the darkness lifted, and I found myself in a vast cavern. In the center stood a massive oak tree, its branches reaching towards the ceiling. And there she was, the woman from before, or what remained of her. I rushed towards her, calling out, "Are you okay?" But when I got closer, I realized I had a lot of explaining to do. She regarded me with an expression of profound sadness. "You shouldn't be here," she said, her voice echoing strangely in the cavern. "This place holds pain, darkness that should not be disturbed." Before I could respond, a sense of foreboding washed over me. I felt a sudden chill despite the stifling heat. The air grew heavy, charged with an energy I couldn't comprehend. And then I heard it, a low growl that seemed to emanate from the very walls. Whatever it was massive, powerful. Fear pulsed through me, primal and overwhelming. The woman sensed my terror and spoke urgently. "Run," she cried. "Hide." But before I could move, the ground trembled violently. From the corner of my eye, I saw it, a hulking shape emerging from the shadows. It lunged towards me, its eyes blazing with an otherworldly fire. I stumbled back, my heart pounding against my ribs like a frantic bird. The creature advanced, its growl echoing in the cavern, each step shaking the very foundations of the earth. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen before, a fusion of animalistic ferocity and supernatural menace. Its eyes locked onto mine, and in that moment, I knew I was in the presence of something truly terrifying. Desperately, I turned to the woman. She was staring at the creature with a look of anguish on her face. "What is that?" I gasped, my voice cracking with fear. She looked at me, her eyes filled with sorrow. "That," she whispered, "is the embodiment of my torment, the spirit that festers within these chains. It is my prison and my curse." The creature snarled, baring rows of sharp teeth. With a speed that belied its bulk, it pounced. I screamed, scrambling out of its reach. It landed heavily on the ground, sending shards of rock flying in all directions. I scrambled to my feet and ran, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Behind me, the creature roared in frustration, its heavy footsteps echoing in the cavern. I didn't dare turn back. I just kept running, my lungs burning, my legs heavy with fatigue. Suddenly, the tunnel opened up into a large chamber. In the distance, I saw a faint light. Hope surged through me. I stumbled towards it, praying it would lead me out of this nightmare. As I approached the light, I could feel the creature's presence growing fainter. I pushed on, my gaze fixed on the exit. When I finally reached the opening, I burst out of the cavern and collapsed on the ground, gasping for breath. Looking back, I could see the entrance to the tunnels disappearing into the darkness. The experience felt like a fever dream, surreal and terrifying. As I lay there catching my breath, I wondered if I would ever truly understand what I had witnessed.